In the beginning of this session, you were starting to talk of an analogy of there being endless number of infinitely small threads, wires. I
Yeah.
wondered if, and
Threads would
then,
be fine. Threads would be fine as long as they had a little light on the end of them.
so could you expound on that a little more?
Within the dreaming, there is life here. And within the talk, that's being expressed by the light on the end of a tiny wire that begins nowhere and goes nowhere, but appears. It isn't. It isn't true. But this is a way of recognizing, this is a way of attempting to help put language where language doesn't belong, which is that little light on the end of each wire is each life. It's Indra's net in terms of, there's no boundary to Indra's net. There's no beginning to Indra's net. There's really no understanding Indra's net. We pretend to understand Indra's net. I have pretended to explain Indra's net 1,000 times. If I haven't explained it to you, you're welcome to ask the question. So, but Indra's net are these tiny, tiny wires. The only thing that the light at the end of these little wires, there's no individual wires. There are lights, we're going to say. We're just going to drop the wires and allow there to be where there were wires, there are now just dots of light. And this is very close. I mean, maybe it's arrogant for me to say that this is very close because I don't really know. It's sensed that it is. I know I could say worse things or more untrue things. But these tiny lights is the I am appearing as untold trillions. Fredness, which doesn't really exist, but for the sake of our analogy, Fredness is one of those little lights. No Fred. Fredness is just a way of, I'm going to say, furthering apprehension. This means the getting of it without any thought process. When this is apprehended, there's not an apprehender and an apprehended. It's weaker than that. It's not that solid, not that true, but it's not going to hurt us to use it, other than the fact that you may become convinced that I know what I'm talking about, and there's no I here to do that. But for the moment, the light expresses. The light comes on, that's an I am. The sense of I am somewhere, where? Nowhere. Seems like in the universe, but there is no universe. There's no universe and other. Universe sort of implies, it's like oneness. It implies that there's universe and that other that isn't. Just like oneness implies that there's two-ness when we don't even understand oneness. So we go into the two-ness and the three-ness and the 13,000th in order to believe that we are making progress